Let's talk about those tools, because when you're creating a look of anxiety, a feeling of terror, what are some of the things that you're doing in the camera movement, in the lighting, that make people feel that way?
In the lighting, first of all, it has to be beautiful. You have to be engaged, and I hope it is. I'm the worst judge of my own work, but it has to be beautiful. You have to be engaged. You have to grasp this sense of Stepford Wives or whatever you say, whatever you quoted, but this sort of glitzy, beautiful, silky, glamorous life that they had in the suburbia. And then you peel, this woman in episode 1 starts peeling the wallpaper. And that's a metaphor for what's underneath it. You know, underneath it, there is mold, there is worms, there is who knows what there is. So you start by revealing the obvious and making it beautiful. And then there is this character, let's say they're having dinner, and the camera pans to the left a little bit, unnoticeably. Hopefully the editor uses it, by the way. That's the other problem. You pan to the left unnoticeably, and you frame it in a way that it's like here on my head, but on my left there is more space. In that space, you reveal a dark door. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. And then in the reverse, you do the same, but in the next take, you start pushing towards the dark door. And then the audience says something is going to happen.
Yeah.
Subconsciously. And you turn around again, and you come back, and all of a sudden, in the next take, the door is closed. It's either a mistake from the set dressing gentleman that walk out and close the door, which is possible, and everybody goes, oh my God, that's it, let's close the door. Or it's a conscious decision, and the door is closed, and you don't know what happened. So those kind of little tricks that you basically take, humanity, it's about the accumulation of information. You take and you watch the Hitchcock movies, and you watch another thriller or French. The French are masters, and the Dutch, the Danish and the Norwegians are masters of horror, because they live 6 months of the year inside like an igloo, so they nothing else to do other than do movies about people being killed or kidnapped or whatever. If you watch those, at some point, the accumulation of information is gonna. So you take a little bit of Hitchcock, a little bit of that movie. We haven't invented anything. I mean, Aesopus, how do you say it in the Greek philosopher, Aesopus, whatever. All the things he wrote 3,000 years ago are the same things we're doing right now. So nothing is new. You basically, in Spanish, you say refrito, refry. You take this piece of meat and that piece of that, and the next morning you have this refried thing that it tastes fantastic. But it's a little bit of what we all have done in life. And that's what you do. So I remember that time I was alone, and the house had a noise, and the window moved the curtains a little bit like this. I got scared. You put that in a movie, and that's what it is.
So I like the analogy. Well, not an analogy, but I like the thought that fear and terror live in the unknown. So kind of creating frames where there's a lot of negative space that sort of draw your eye in a way to something that you're not even talking about, or the scene isn't even about. But by being dark, by being mysterious, it makes you want to know what's there. And I think
Correct.
that makes sense. And I saw that a lot in the framing. Another thing I saw that you guys did is a lot of camera movement, Dutch angles, kind of spinning on the camera's axis. There was a lot of disorienting camera movement. Talk to me about that decision.
That may feel very new. That may feel very osé and very modern. You take a movie like The Conjuring from the 70s, or you take The French Connection, you know. There is this guy running, and there is a zoom that chases the guy and then zooms back. If I do it today, they go, there's some film geeks like you and me that would say, oh, The French Connection. Some other people would say, oh my God, I've never seen that, because my daughter is 13. She's never seen it. She hasn't seen The French Connection yet. So something is new. So we took all the elements, and we took those elements, but we tried, hopefully successfully, to relate it to the actual story. And that's one thing that myself and Javier, the other cinematographer, it's either related to the story or it's a gratuitous move or it's a gratuitous trick. If it's a gratuitous trick, then it takes you out of the story.
Do you feel like you push the boundaries with your work on them?
Oh, definitely. We did push the boundaries, and I did push the boundaries. This is in a 1950s classical project movie with a 70s point of view with a 90s 2000 technology or tricks. If you keep that in mind, what we did is that there is very little visual effects when it's related to actually monster and horror. There's a lot of visual effects because we shot it in 2021 and you have to turn it in 1950s.
Of course.
There is a lot of that, or a lot of whatever. We try to avoid, but there is unavoidable. But when we didn't create a Godzilla coming through we didn't create a pool of, like an avalanche of blood into somebody's backyard. That was not the point. So most of it we did on camera. We put up mylar sheet, which is this sort of very reflective sort of party gel you use for the balloons,
Okay.
We pointed the camera at one of those balloons, and the reflection, it's flat because it's very stretched. But then if you take the finger and go like this, the reflection goes distorted.
Oh.
That's what we did in episode 8. We had
you actually had like a piece of this film in front of the lens?
Well, imagine a mirror.
Okay.
Yeah, and you shoot through the mirror, but the mirror is made from this material that it's plasticky,
Okay.
So when you distort it, the distortion goes like that.
Oh, cool. And if you don't distort it, it just looks normal.
It just looks
just a reflection.
It looks like a mirror, maybe not. It looks like a non-perfect mirror, but if I don't distort it, you won't know anything.
Okay.
So then this person is watching somebody that is a normal person and blinks and opens the eyes again, and this person has this metaphorical demon and then blinks again and it back to the normal person.
Yeah.
So every time she blinked or he blinked, this person was turning into a monster. So you could do that with Function F5 Control 3 in Maya and it's a VFX. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way. So when camera was locked off, the mirror was locked off, we had a woman there, the real woman, and she was perfect. And then we distorted a little bit. Then we took her out. We put a stunt person in gel and like horns and whatever. And we did the same. And the editor sort of sandwiched them together with the help of visual effects, probably because you need to blend some images.
Sure.
But what you see, or 90% of what you see, was done on camera. And that was another thing that we're very proud of it. I am very proud of it.